everyone, welcome back. So I'm really excited to share with you today the 5 secrets to highly productive companies. In this video, I want to outline some of the habits of highly productive companies and how they can get more done in less time. Let's get started. Okay, point number 1 is have clear, specific, measurable goals. I've seen a lot of coaches fall into this trap where they're just trying to come up with some busy work for people to do. And so they're like, hey, what's your quarterly goal and your annual goal and these things? And so they're just writing it down and say, here's what I want to do. I want to put the energy behind goal making. So as I talk about some of these concepts in any of my videos, I hope you can see it's really the intent and the energy that needs to get behind it, because otherwise it just feels like a mundane task that I have to do. Or it should be something that you get super charged about and something that you take super seriously as well. And so to create a really great goal, you have to come up and back into it and say, what is the one thing that I can do in my company that will make the biggest difference? And literally list out, if you need to, 100 different things on a whiteboard. Would this make the biggest impact? And what you'll find is, even though you think it's this thing, once you start listing a big list of different goals, you'll find that another one is actually better than the other one. So you can cross that one off and then take that goal. And then that can be like, okay, company, like this is our goal for the next X time period. So what you want to do is find the one thing and then back into the time period. I see so many times where you find people backing a goal into a time period, but why? We can set a time period that can be fluid. We don't want to make it too far out where, at the most 2 years, like if you're trying to build a rocket or something or get into space. What you want to do is back into it. And so, okay, here's my wildly important goal. And then I look at that as like your war goal, like your big thing. Okay, to win the war, this is what we need to do, for lack of a better word. And then what you can do is if you have teams built in place, you can say, okay, what are the different individual goals these teams or departments or channels need to have to be able to ultimately help win the war? And you want each team to kind of build their own goal, or else what's going to happen is that they're not going to own it. And you want the team to own their goal. And so you can say, okay, what are the things that they can do to help me get to that? So for us, right now we have a goal that, what does it take to onboard 100 clients a week? So now each department can back into it. Okay, technology, we need to beef up our automations. 100 clients a week breaks every system we have, because we need more automations. We would have to hire hundreds and hundreds of people to do some of the manual processes that we're doing now. So that's a way to kind of break into, okay, we know we need to go build this technology or this automation now. So another thing, there's a really great book out there that kind of changed my mindset on goal setting, and that is called The 4 Disciplines of Execution. It is not a light read in any way. There is a 3-hour abridged version on Audible that you can do to get the knowledge of what it's about. It talks about lead and lag measures, and it was like an aha moment for me, because I grew up in the accounting world where we talk a lot about what's called lag measures, the results that happen after you do all the work. So you think about revenue, that is captured after you collect the money. But lead measures are the inputs that are going to affect the lag measures. And so we really need to almost focus on the lead measures more. Like, okay, if my goal is to get from 100,000 in revenue to $1 million in revenue by this date, that's my goal, right? Now, my lag measure is really that 100,000 in revenue. And I need to now back into that. What are the inputs I can do to be able to get that much in revenue? And so just trying to change the way you think about goal setting and not make it feel like a chore. It should be fun. It should be something that really elevates your company and gets you moving, going further faster. The second secret of highly productive companies is really being able to track your measurements, your data, your KPIs, whatever you want to call them. So it's really clear tracking and accountability. So when you build your org chart out, create measurements or an accountability metric that each person is responsible for. You need some kind of software to be able to capture the data. If you don't have, it might not be time to have a sophisticated business intelligence software, but go and use a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets work for tons and tons of use cases and for all sizes of companies. Just go use a simple spreadsheet and start tracking data. And when you get that data, you can now make decisions off of those metrics. And now you can put your vision and your kind of the gut meter that we have as visionaries and the data, and you can put the two together. I talk a lot about connecting your heart and your mind together to make decisions. This is it. Your gut is, and your heart is like the things that are the things that make you excited as a visionary, that you can just feel is right or wrong. Now get the data from a mind perspective, hook the two together, and then you can make awesome decisions from that. But so often we make wrong emotional decisions, or we think we're farther along than we are, or we're not being honest with where we're at as a business owner. Like, if you just be real with yourself, it makes things so much easier. I'm speaking from experience. Didn't look at this data, even though my background was in accounting, I'm a big visionary. And the problem with that is as visionaries, because we can see the vision so clearly, we think it'll just happen. And then we're like, oh, but it's so clear in my head, I just know it's gonna work out. And honestly, it doesn't work that way. So we really need to be really real and realistic with ourselves, look at the data, get the numbers, and then get people to analyze it with you. Okay, the third habit of a highly productive company is to have a great team in place. And that can be in-house, outsourced, or a combination of the two. But regardless, you don't want to start hiring a bunch of jack of all trades. Now, if you have a bunch of gaps in your org chart, you might want to find somebody that can fill a bunch of those gaps, because there are people that might not be good at these 5 things, but they're really good at these 3. So they're like, okay, this person can fill these 3 gaps. And so it's not a bad thing to find somebody that can do multiple things, but just understand over time, you probably want to start to segregate that out more, because it allowed them to be more focused and more specialized in what they are doing. So whether it's in-house or outsourced, you want a good team around you that is skilled in their thing. We've gotten so broad with one person doing it, but the thing is employees really don't want that anymore. It doesn't fulfill them if you're trying to have them do too many things. Okay, so before we go into the last 2 habits of highly productive companies, if you like videos like this, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to this channel, tell other entrepreneurs about us. We can really make a difference and change the world together for good. So again, if you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Okay, number 4 of a highly productive company is have clear daily goals and a structured schedule. I say that loosely because depending on your role will determine how structured your schedule needs to be. So for instance, me as a visionary, I keep my schedule a lot more fluid. I try to keep my meetings on specific days, and then I try to give myself a lot of time for creativity and saying, okay, what is it that I should do today? It allows me to stay in my zone of genius, stay in my creative zone. And then I've also worked on, okay, things I don't like doing, how can I batch it so I don't have to just go and get it done and then not have to worry about it. So understand, like, know what your objective is based on the role that you have. But as far as like there's a lot of people that are just task doers, and those are okay. Those aren't bad employees, but you do need to make sure that they know what to do and when. And so for instance, like our project management software, we don't want everybody owning the back end of the project management system. Sometimes the task doers, they just need to know, they need to log in for the day, here's the things they need to do, and they love checking the boxes off. And that's okay, like everybody's got different things that make them tick that they get excited about. And so you need to start having that structure in place so you can serve those types of employees. Remember that not everybody's like us as entrepreneurs. It doesn't make those employees bad or what's wrong with them. It's not that. It's just that if we had all people like us, we'd have one crazy world. So we don't want people to be like us. We want to see how it's like a puzzle. Everybody, whether it's the task doer type or the integrator type that can go into a team and kind of hold people accountable and get things situated, like whatever it is, think of all of these elements and people and the differences and their skills as a puzzle piece that you can put together. Okay, number 5 is really having a good meeting rhythm that can help keep you productive. This is another one that people are always looking for, like, what's the meeting thing I should have? And I really think it depends on your culture, your company, and where you're at in your business. I think different meeting structures work at different times. There's times like in marketing, we've done open Zoom links where literally we're in there just working on our own thing while there's an open Zoom link up. Sometimes it makes sense to do daily stand-ups. If there's something that we got to make sure a week is too long for us to go by or a month is too long, like do a daily stand-up with that. There's times when we have tons and tons of meetings. I don't recommend doing that for a long time, but like sometimes you need to have a lot of meetings to start having less meetings, because if there's something that needs to get worked out, sometimes you got to do it manually. You got to start working with people. We're a virtual company, and so for us, you need to get on Zoom calls, you need to work it out. And then you can kind of divide and conquer. So I'm not here to tell you like this is the meeting that you should have. There's tons of solutions out there. Go research a bunch. You know, the EOS system has, I think, a 10x meeting scenario. I've heard good, bad, and the ugly about that. I've had people say that they've literally just have a meeting to have a meeting. So I think, again, it's about the intent of the meeting and making sure that it's productive and it's getting the job done. So I'm not here to tell you like this is the meeting that you have to have, but you do need to be mindful of what is the need that we need to fill and then structure the meeting that way. But that is, regardless, a quality and a habit of highly productive people, or I guess I should say highly productive businesses. Okay, so that's it on the 5 things for highly productive people, but I'm gonna leave you with one little bonus thing to think about. One of my favorite kind of analogies is around Elon Musk and how he got SpaceX to be so productive so fast. And so what he was willing to do was literally blow up rockets. So this is my little bonus for you, is as you're building all of these structures, I gave you 5 tactical things to do, but the thing is that you want to be willing to blow up rockets as you're going through this. And what I mean by that is be willing to test the limits. Hey, let's just go do this and see if it breaks. You can do a risk analysis to say, is this something, obviously if it's a safety thing, like if you're in the construction world and like this has a potential to kill somebody, like, you know, you don't wanna go blow up that rocket. Like, meaning you don't wanna just go see what happens. Like you wanna be a little more mindful of it. But there's a lot of things in business that we hold way too tight on that we don't just go and take the risk. If the risk is low, especially when you're small, man, I wish if I could go back to my younger self and be like, you know what? It's okay if a customer hates you because they're not gonna remember you, they're small enough. Like go test things, because at the end of the day, you're trying to serve a greater good. Yeah, you might have 1 or 2 unhappy customers, but when you're big and you've tested it all, you're gonna be so much better for the masses when you're there. And so when you're small, like just go for it. And so I see a lot of these tactical things with hesitation sometimes, or strategic things, because you need to make sure that it applies to you, your business, and what you need to go forward. So that's my little bonus for you. There's actually a documentary on Elon Musk's story, which is super great. It was really phenomenal how he was able to really compete against NASA and get the rockets into space. If you want to go deeper into these concepts and how you can, depending on if you're in the foundation, growth, or the momentum phase of your business, and really get what I call stress-free super growth, you can actually go to a free presentation that I'm putting on, and it's actually, the domain is stressfreesupergrowth.com. And with that, we'll go deeper into how you can create a company that's scalable, sustainable, and replicable depending on where you're at in your business. So I'm really excited. I'll see you on the inside. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.